Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tia Shakira, and this is my review channel, where I review movies and TV shows. So last video I watched Camp Rock 1 and Camp Rock 2. So if you haven't seen that video, it will be linked down in the description below. Go check it out. In this video, we are going to be discussing the movie Let It Shine. So I try to summarize as best as I can, but I might leave some stuff out. So if you have not already seen the movie, I would suggest not watching this video. Maybe going to watch the movie then come back, or if you don't care, continue to watch. But yeah, let's get into the video.
No, seriously, Si, what's your deal, man? Because I know you got the note rhymes in the notepad. It's different when I'm writing songs by myself. I can't do all that up on the stage and everyone's watching me. All you need to do is get your flow tight, get some new fat gear, hit the gym a little bit, and if you put some zit cream on that forehead, you'll be straight, dude.
His life was all about the music.
I know I'm ready and able, but I'm still here busting all these tables.
Seems as if Urkel thinks he's a pretty clever rapper.
I'm disappointed. You will not set foot in that club again.
But you understand, I'm a songwriter.
Any rap is inappropriate as far as I'm concerned.
But a chance at stardom
One amateur artist will get their song produced by my record label.
I'm missing a song for the contest.
leads to a big misunderstanding.
He's cute. Looks like we do have ourselves a winner.
How's it feel to be rap's next superstar?
He calls himself True.
True. Who in the heck is True? That's me. I'm True. They made a mistake.
Now,
You gotta think of something, man, please.
She likes you because she thinks you're true. So why don't we just keep letting her think that?
all of his dreams will come true for someone else.
I had my part in this and now I'm starting to regret it.
Listen, you need to chill out.
Disney Channel presents
You just gotta speak up for yourself. You freeze up when it's time for you to get up on that stage, and then you get tongue-tied when it comes to telling Roxy how you feel.
It seems like we have more in common than Chris and I.
Tyler James Williams, Trevor Jackson, Coco Jones, and Brandon Michael Smith.
It's about the music. It's what I'm good at.
Maybe it's time you turned on the mic.
This summer, the truth is in the music. Let It Shine, the Disney Channel original movie, premieres Friday, June 15th at 8, 7 Central on Disney Channel.
So we started the movie off with everybody being in church, which is, serve the Lord. That's good. They're up there feeling the Holy Spirit, getting their praise on as they should on this good Sunday morning. The song it starts off slow paced, just like a traditional worship song. Gospel song. I could not think of that for some reason. Gospel song. And then all of a sudden it flips. The tempo rises and it's more fast paced. Everybody's dancing more freely and stuff, I would say. And honestly, the whole church is loving it. Everybody's loving it but the pastor, of course. So they pan the camera onto the pastor and we see he is not rocking with it. He's not messing with it. Whatever. We soon learn that the pastor is a main important part of the movie. Okay. But no, he was mad. He was greatly mad. So after church, we skip to back home. We skip to the pastor being back home with his family, who we learn is the pianist, who was the pianist playing with the church choir. His name is Cyrus, and that is the main character, Cyrus. So his dad goes off on him because he's like, why are you playing that music in my church? We're here to serve the Lord and nothing else. Cyrus' dad explains that rap is the devil's music, that is up for you to determine. I don't think so, especially not all rap is bad rap. I personally don't think it's devil music, but again, to each his own. I'm not here to discuss that with you guys because it doesn't matter what genre it is as long as it is serving God. I would like to assume, I would like to think, and just because it's gospel music doesn't mean it is correct, but whatever. He was like, he will not have that in his church, which is, it is his church at the end of the day. And personally, no, I don't agree with what he said, but I feel like that is his church. You got to follow the rules that he wants in his church. You got to respect it, you know what I mean? But I respect Cyrus for at least trying, because I don't think you have to be like traditional to serve God, in a sense of like music. You know, I don't think that if you rap it or if you're singing it or if you're dancing it, that means that you serve him less than somebody who isn't doing that. I don't think that is true. So I did put side note, Cyrus is a church child. He's a preacher's kid, of course, and his dad owns the church right across the street from them. Later on, we see Cyrus sneaking out to a club. We soon meet Chris, who is a flirt and just be lying off the dome. Like, he was just sitting up there lying to girls for no reason. We learn that Chris is Cyrus' best friend. They've known each other since like they were 5 years old, so that's, keep that in mind also. But we learned a difference. One of the key differences between Cyrus and Chris is their taste in women. Cyrus is more into women who likes to think, who likes to dream, who sees themselves like being something great in life. I would like to assume, like somebody who doesn't just go with the flow, if that makes sense. Like, they want to pursue what they want and not what somebody else wants for them. While Chris just kind of just like, if she's a girl, I'm gonna go for her. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't really care about any of that. Cyrus likes a woman that he can like talk to and just, you know, pick their brains. But we see that the club isn't just like a regular club. It's like a battle club. So you go there, you can eat, you can, you know, have your little party, I guess, but you can also battle. There's a stage and people come to battle, which I think that's cool. Like, it's a different type of club. It's not just like you don't just have to dance, you can do something. And apparently, like, people go up there and some of them are like, I would like to think, well known around the community. Like, some people really like their flow and how they rap and stuff, so I think that that's like a plus. Like, imagine going to your local club and like you're kind of a star because people like what you rapping about. I think that's cool. Yeah, but I wrote that it's like an underground rap community type thing. So as the men on stage are rapping, or I should say boys or young men, whatever, you know, as they are rapping, we pan back to Cyrus, who is working at the time, and he's cleaning off tables and he starts rapping. So we get to see that not only if this is a rapping, you know, like community, but Cyrus plays a part in the rap community too. And we see how passionate and serious he is about his flow, because like you know what I'm saying? So it was cool to see that, like, oh, we unlocked the personality with him, you know, outside of church, because we already seen that. So yeah, so we finally meet, like, we are actually introduced to one of the dudes that was on stage singing, and he goes by Lord of the Bling. I'm not gonna call him that. I'm just gonna call him the Bling because I don't play that. But I do think, like, it's ironic that the movie is kind of like, part of the movie is like it being like a church theme, and his name is like Lord of the Bling. Like, I think that's kind of ironic. But no, I'm not going to be calling him Lord of the Bling. I'm just going to be calling him the Bling. Yeah, so he crosses paths with Cyrus, and I guess, honestly, I'm sorry, I forgot to write it down, so I don't know how they cross paths, but I'm gonna assume that one of them bumped into each other or whatever. That would make sense. So I'm gonna say Cyrus bumps into him, and that makes the Bling mad or whatever, because he tries to like intimidate Cyrus. For what reason, I don't understand. I feel like it was never that serious. Like, Cyrus said like excuse me or something like that, and it should have just been that. But you know, when you're dealing with men that don't know how to like deal with emotions, like, they're going to do the most. So Bling tried to like embarrass him, humble him, whatever you want to call it. Cyrus really wasn't falling for that, and he was like, bro, like, your rap's not even good, like, for real, like, you garbage, for real. So that hurts the Bling's ego, of course, because like in his mind he's the best rapper to ever been born. You get what I'm saying? And then he has his posse around him hyping him up, so he's like, this loser thinks that my music is trash. Oh, okay, I got something for you. So he gets back up on stage and he calls Cyrus out in front of the whole place, and he calls him Urkel, which me personally I don't understand, because like, he looks nothing like Urkel. He doesn't dress like him. He doesn't sound like him. He doesn't walk. Nothing. So I don't really understand the whole Urkel. Like, me personally, if I'm called somebody Urkel, which I have never actually, but if people have called somebody Urkel, it's because they actually look like Urkel, or maybe they sound like him, they dress like him. Cyrus did not, but whatever. So he has basically the whole building calling Cyrus Urkel. Urkel kind of had what? Cyrus kind of has this like look of like you can't, you know what I mean, like you can't peer pressure me into like battling you for no reason at that. So Cyrus walks away, as he should. I think, like, you know, I would have walked away too, because honestly the whole situation was never that serious. Like, you bumped into him, okay, cool, like keep walking, you know. So this is like kind of like a side note, because this was like, I'm confused. So before Cyrus went to the club, we literally seen him sneak out of his window, walk to his bike and push his bike until he got kind of like far away from the house, and then he started it, and then he rode off to the club. On the way back from the club, he's walking with his friend, bike nowhere in sight. We can chalk that up to maybe he parked it further down because he didn't want noise. Maybe that, I don't know. We'll chop that up as that. But my thing is, not only did Cyrus go into the front door, but his friend came through the front door of the house, loud as I don't know what. Mind you, when he left it was dark, and when they came back it was dark, so it has to be at least like maybe 12 or 1, you know. They come back into the house. They literally go into the living room, cut on the TV, and just talking as if they're not supposed, like as if this is a great time to be up talking, looking at TV and doing all this. I was like, what is going on? Like, why did they forget that he snuck out? Like, he literally snuck out through his window. If anything, they should have snuck back into his window. And if he didn't have a TV in his room, he had to have a computer because he makes beats. So, like, he's an engineer, right? So he should have been able to look it up on his computer, and they look at the news from the computer. That would have made more sense than dude walking in the front door loud as I don't know what, as if it's not after hours and your parents are not asleep, with your best friend, and y'all are loud as I don't know what. That didn't make no sense to me. That kind of like, that ruined the whole plot of him sneaking out. You get what I'm saying? Because it's like, well, dang, if you could have just walked through the door, if you could have just walked through the door after, you should have just walked out the door. You get what I'm saying? Like, that didn't make no sense to me. So as they're watching TV, they see their old friend from elementary school on there, and she is looking for a new artist, you know, for her label. Basically, we learned that her name is Roxy or Roxanne. I'm gonna call her Roxy because I feel like everybody calls her Roxy but the older people, which is basically Cyrus' parents. I feel like Cyrus' parents, because they're the only parents that we see for real. So Cyrus' parents are the only people who call her Roxanne. So I'm gonna call her Roxy for a new artist for her label. So Cyrus is like, you know what, bet I'm gonna do it. So he decides to enter the contest, and then we get a montage of scenes where Cyrus is working on his songs throughout his day-to-day life. Like, he's going through like work, and he's you know, writing songs, waking up writing songs, like in between church hours and stuff like that, writing songs, stuff like that. And then maybe I'll say within like a week, I'm gonna give it like a week, I would like to think, because he's very passionate, so I don't feel like it would take him like a couple of days. I'm gonna say about a week. So in about a week, he's finished, and he submits his CD and everything for it. My thing is, and I literally wrote it in caps because, like, I don't know if y'all can see it or not, because it didn't make sense to me though. I literally said, my thing is, it bothered me so bad that he submitted a picture of him and Chris. Why the heck would he submit a picture of himself with somebody else? This is it. I didn't make any sense to me. Like, I genuinely don't understand the logic of why Cyrus would do that. And I really wish, like, low-key, they would have asked him why he did that, because I feel like I would want to know why he did that, because he played a part in his own in the mess too. You get what I'm saying? But whatever, he submitted the picture and that was it. The next day, Cyrus wakes up late for church, so he runs to get ready, and of course, you know, he gets there late, and of course the door is gonna squeak. But even if it didn't squeak, it really didn't matter, because his dad would have seen him walk through the door, because he's a pastor, he's up there preaching, he's literally right in front of the door. So it really it didn't really matter if it squeaked or not. But my thing is, I don't know why his parents didn't wake him up when they were getting ready for church. Like, why are y'all so, y'all expect, like, don't get me wrong, like, you're supposed to give your teens freedom to do stuff, but at the same time, like, if I wake up for something and I know that we're all supposed to be doing it, right, and as I'm getting ready, I don't see that person, I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna knock on the door, I'm gonna ask them, hey, like, you know, it's time to get up, because it's time to get up. So the parents weren't crap either, because I feel like they played a part in why he was late, because whether you're trying to get him independence or not, like, waking him up one time because he's late is not going to ruin giving him independence. You get what I'm saying? And just because he wakes up late, it doesn't mean that it's not important to him. Just sometimes stuff happens. He's a young teen trying to figure out life, trying to live a life that represents who he is, and trying to also please his parents and his friends and everybody else around him. Give him a break. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, like, I feel like because his dad was so judgmental about every single thing, if it didn't fit in his dad's plan, not God's plan, but his dad's plan, it was like, oh, nose all tooted up to the world. You get what I'm saying? Like, so far up. And it's like, no, because no, don't do that. In Queen Shama's voice, because no. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand that. That was weird. But when he comes to the building, he tries to, you know, make a little joke. It didn't land, you know, because obviously the people are gonna follow the pastor, and the pastor wasn't with it. You get what I'm saying? That's one thing I don't like about, like, some church people. I feel like they don't know how to separate pastors from God, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like people, like, if you're a pastor, people automatically think that you represent God in every single thing that you do, and that's not true, because at the end of the day, nobody is as great as Jesus. You get what I'm saying? We're supposed to be like Jesus. We're not supposed to be Jesus, we're supposed to be like him. You get what I'm saying? So it irritates me how everybody just, especially in this movie, it was like what the pastor was feeling, the congregation just went with it. It didn't matter what came out of his mouth. He was spewing just hate, and they were just clapping and clapping and clapping and agreeing. And it's like, why? Personally, I think his dad was trying to call him out, but he was trying to call everybody out at the same time, like the whole generation, because he goes into this whole tangent about how this generation is so far from God, and how, you know, pants be hanging sagging, which is very much true. Pants be sagging. I agree with that. They need to stop sagging, okay? Especially if you know where the origin of sagging comes from. Why would you want to even partake in that if you're not into that? You get what I'm saying? And then also, just like, you know, young women not wearing the right clothes. I agree too. Like, we need to cover up unless you are into what that requires for you not to be covered up. You get what I'm saying? Like, if you, I don't know, some of the stuff that he was saying was true, but all of it came out in a spiteful, nasty way. It wasn't love. It just wasn't none of that. It was just, I'm mad because you didn't wake up at the time I wanted you to wake up, so now I'm about to call you out. Even though it doesn't partake in any of really what he was saying. Like, even the whole, like, oh, I get the whole music thing. It's like, Cyrus' music is not, just because he is rapping does not mean it is of this world. You get what I'm saying? So it's kind of just like, and you're no better than the young generation, because you're still judging. You're not righteous at all. So I don't know, it just threw me. It just made me like, hold up, sir. No. Because what are we talking about here? Everything came from his heart. Everything came from, oh, I never did that, so why are you doing it? I don't like people like that. Like, it's one thing to have gone through stuff and then, like, be like, you know, I went through that. I understand that's not the right path, you know? But it's, oh, I didn't do it, so you shouldn't do it. Or why are you doing it? I'm judging you because I would never do that. I don't like people like that. Because to me personally, I feel like I feel like we all have to learn this thing called life in our own ways. You get what I'm saying? And I don't think that we all need to experience it in the same way. And just because we all didn't experience it in the same way, that doesn't mean that our interaction with it or our experience is less than or even more than, because we experienced it all different ways. So I don't like how, because he doesn't understand it, he's judging it in a nasty way. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's what it, like, oh, I didn't go around here sagging my pants, so now I'm about to judge you in a nasty way because you're doing it, instead of educating, because he wasn't educating, he was just talking down on. And I'm like, come on, like, you've done something in your life that Jesus would not be proud of, that God would definitely not be proud of. So don't sit up here and try to act like you're better than because you didn't do that sin. After, you know, Cyrus' dad tries to call him out, or he does, whatever you want to take it, we jump scenes to Roxy and her manager looking through the audition tapes and stuff like that. We hear her actually listening to Cyrus, or should I say the truth, right? We hear her listening to it in the background, and actually listening to the song, she's looking through his audition papers and stuff like that, and she realizes that she knows these two dudes. She recognizes them from elementary school, and she lets her manager know that she's going to decide to go with the truth, right? So she shows her management the picture of the boy, and the management is like, oh, he's cute. So remember, I said that because I'm gonna bring it back up later. My thing is, though, with this whole thing, which is, I'm probably skipping a little ahead of myself, but I am gonna say this, Roxy and her management just assumed who was the truth, and I don't like that, because my thing is, there's two people, and why not ask them who is true, considering the fact that she knows them? So it's like, I feel like it couldn't have been that hard to find them and ask them, hey, which one of you is true? Because, you get what I'm saying? Like, it would have been so easy, but I don't know. But then the TV show host, I literally forgot to put their name on here, so I'm so sorry. The TV host people come to the club and they see Chris. They come up to Chris and they're like, you know, Chris, you won. You know, they don't call him by his stage name. They just say, hey, we heard that you're the winner. That's what they told Chris. So Chris, like, excited and happy, goes over to Cyrus and like, hey man, I won. And Cyrus is like, you won? Mind you, they've known each other since 5th grade. I mean, not 5th grade. They've known each other since they were 5 years old. So Cyrus knows this dude can't rap to save his life. So honestly, I'm not mad that he kind of acted the way he did, because, like, you know when your friends are good at something, when they're okay at something, and when they're trash at something. And you know when they, like, yeah, like, he knew, like, you won. Out of everybody that auditioned, you won. Like, and don't get me wrong, to me personally, the reason why I agree with him, because he didn't say it in a rude way. He wasn't nasty about it. He was just really shocked, because he knows his friend cannot rap. And if you feel like he was wrong, that's on you. But personally, I don't think he was wrong for having that shock reaction, because the dude cannot rap. So it's like, well, if you won, what does that mean for a person like me? And not even just him, like everybody else who actually had talent, who auditioned. Like, if Chris, out of all people, won, that, I would be shocked too. I would be feeling some type of way too, because I'm like, wait, what? I would be like, what did I send for my audition? Did I send the right tape? Because this don't make no doggone sense. Cyrus said, oh, like, you won, like, shocked. And Chris was like, oh, like, why are you surprised that, like, I won? So he caught on to it. But Cyrus, just, like, to cover it up, he was like, oh no, it's not that, it's just that I didn't even hear your audition tape, which is true. But I don't think Chris heard Cyrus's either. So, but Chris was just like, oh yeah, that's because he literally made it in one day and submitted it. And that makes Cyrus looks even more mad, because it's like, you spent a day, maybe even a couple of hours, writing and producing your rap just to send it in the same day, and you won. Because we already know he can't rap. So if he didn't even spend more than a day trying to put it together, we already know it's garbage, right? That literally was just like a little side note to like, I feel like that was just said to show just how like he does not care, because next it was just like kind of, they just ran right past it, and we get to Roxy coming in and like, hey y'all, like how y'all doing, like I haven't seen y'all in forever, how it's been, you know, little catching up or whatever. My thing is though, I don't like this scene because I feel like it plays more into why they think Chris is truth, because she looks at the both of them, she hypes Chris up so much. She's like, oh, you look so good, you look so good, you look so good, whatever, which is cool. That's not the problem. She looks at Cyrus and she looks at him up and down, and she's like, literally, she was like, Cyrus, you look the same. I mean, actually, like, you looked in the 3rd grade. Like, what are you implying? Like, what does that mean? Like, what would that mean to y'all? If I've known somebody since 3rd grade and then we haven't seen each other in years, and then we catch back up and they tell me I haven't changed since 3rd grade, I would feel some type of way, because what do we really look like in 3rd grade? Like, I feel like nobody, we just look like average kids, you know, get what I'm saying? Like, we wasn't above, you know, you get what I'm saying? So it's kind of just like, what do you mean by that, girl? I literally would have walked away and never talked to her again, because you could have at least said you look nice. Like, I would take nice over you look the same, you haven't changed since 3rd grade, because actually I have developed a lot since 3rd grade, you get what I'm saying? So like, I don't know, I would definitely have felt some type of way, but whatever. But this is like a side note. I said rewatching this scene makes me realize just how naive and low-key slow Roxy is. She told Chris that she felt like he wrote that song just for her. Honestly, I really don't understand why she would feel that way when she hasn't seen him in forever. You get what I'm saying? Like, of course he knew that she was going to be listening to the songs, right? But it's like, why do you think that he would write a song for you out of the blue, just out of nowhere? You get what I'm saying? Like, am I wrong? Like, I feel like the only way that she would feel like that was meant for her is if she had a crush on Chris when it was in the 3rd grade and it never went away. That's the only thing I can get from that, because I personally wouldn't assume that somebody I haven't seen since the 3rd grade wrote a song about me unless I was feeling them. You get what I'm saying? Like, it would have already had to be there for you to feel like he would write a song about you, for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, that was just weird to me. So after she kind of, you know, introduces herself, and they catch up for a little bit, she then goes to introduce, actually she goes to perform. And then after that, she introduces Chris as Truth. And I put, Roxy must have not even came across Chris audition, because Chris says his name is Cool Chris with a K. So it's like, again, because low-key I had forgot that Chris even said that he auditioned, right? So I don't know, I just think the whole thing is just stupid. Like, I feel like I don't know. I just think it was kind of stupid. Chris and Cyrus realized that, oh, Roxy made a mistake. And yeah, but Cyrus thinks that Roxy picked Chris because he's tall. But mind you, right, when she had decided who she was going to pick to be the winner, she literally saw a picture of them sitting down. So there was really no height difference. And honestly, Chris was in the front, and maybe that's why they thought Chris was the truth. I don't know. But Chris was in the front and Cyrus was in the back. So Cyrus the one that actually looked taller than Chris because of how they were sitting. You get what I'm saying? So Chris was right here, and then Cyrus was like right here. So if anything, you get what I'm saying? But they were sitting down is what I'm saying. Like, so it really didn't make any sense to me why she would pick him off of height when she had I don't know, I feel like that was his way of like coping with the fact that like, dang, she just not attractive to me, because yeah, she didn't know their height difference. And you can't compare third grade to now because they've grown. Even her, she's tall for her. She's tall. So it's like you can't sit up here and be like, oh, he was tall, because honestly, you don't know. You don't know. It'd be really the people who you think that's gonna be short that really be the tallest. So it's like, I don't know. But Chris and Cyrus decides to continue the line. I'm not sure why they would even do that, because Chris just wanted to hook up with her. In the terms of like, we're grown now. Like, let's be for real. If this wasn't a kid movie, he would have at least tried to hook up. I'm not gonna say that she would have hooked up with him, but he would have tried. That's all he wanted to do, and he let that be very known to Cyrus. For some weird reason, Cyrus was like, okay, cool, like, take your shot, even though I like her too. Why would you do that? If we're both feeling somebody, I'm not going to step aside for you. No, no, that's weird. You understand, outside of relationships, I don't understand why Cyrus would let Chris pretend to be him. Like, you're literally messing up your potential career. Like, you literally could have had a potential career out of this one thing, and you were willing to throw your opportunity away to help your friend maybe get it off, because that's literally all it was to me. Sorry, I don't care. That's all Chris wanted. Like, we literally saw how he acted in the beginning of the movie. Let's not sit up here and act like he fell in love, because he didn't. Come on. But another side note, I don't like how they tried to make Chris dumb. Like, I feel like and honestly, I don't know if they realized it couldn't have worked with what they were trying to do, but also, like, I guess it did work because he was dumb. But I don't like how they were trying to make him come off as dumb. Like, why can't it just be too intelligent, or not even intelligent, but like just smart people? Because intelligent and smart are two different things. So I don't understand why it couldn't be Chris was smart, Cyrus was smart. Why did it have to be Chris was dumb? The next day, where they're supposed to be recording the soundtrack, I guess, I don't know. They're supposed to be recording the song in the booth, right? But apparently everybody was late. And my thing is, management said that Roxy and the other people were late, but she tried to get on Cyrus and Chris for being late, and I didn't like that, because who are you talking to? If everybody but you was late, then don't just come for me. Make sure you come for them too, because like, we're not gonna do that. Like, that's weird. So I will give props when props is due, and I like the fact that Chris did bring Cyrus on board with him in a way, because I never realized that Chris low-key did get Cyrus a job though. I didn't realize that they technically hired Cyrus, because Cyrus says, if you don't want to hire an unexperienced kid like me who charges less what your regular engineer makes, then don't hire me. And it was like, no, we're gonna hire you. So like, he was getting paid to lie. Okay. And yes, I know lying is never good. Like, I'm not encouraging lying, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. They're encouraging lying by making a movie about people lying. So that's that. So after Cyrus is hired as the engineer, Cyrus and Chris get to work. They're working, and then after a little bit, time goes by, old girl Roxy comes in, and they're talking, you know, whatever. This is the whole like, cause this is so aggravating, bro. But you know, Cyrus and Chris has to play it off at like Cyrus isn't in the room, so they're like ducking down and hiding and just doing the most for nothing. Homegirl Roxy asked Chris if he actually really wrote that song for her. I just don't understand. That bothers me. I don't understand why she thought the song was about her. Like, they haven't seen each other in so many years. How could he write a song about a girl he does not know anymore? Me personally, I just don't understand that, because it happened so long ago. Like you can't think that song is about you, honey bun. And then, to me personally, I feel like even before he did claim that the song was about her, because he did tell her before, how did she think that? Like, I don't know. And then Roxy ends up asking him to freestyle, because why not? And it was hot garbage, of course. And he literally told her he had holes in different area codes, and the only reason why she just let it go was because he said he was joking. Me personally, if I tell somebody to freestyle from their heart about me and they pull something out of their butt and they're talking about having holes in different area codes, I would never talk to them again. Because that I told you to freestyle from your heart, sir. Again, like I was saying, Chris and Cyrus was already in the studio. So in between, like, a lot of shots, I would like to assume, Roxy, literally, when Roxy first came in, Cyrus got down on the floor. I don't understand how she didn't see two bodies in there. I don't understand how she didn't see Chris talking to somebody else. I don't understand how she turned around, but he hit. I just don't understand that. Like, logically speaking, there's no way that she did not see two bodies in that studio. There's no way. There's no way. And then again, Chris was physically talking to somebody that was not her. And then after Roxy got off the phone with whoever she was on the phone with, she turned around and Chris had ducked down this time. So it was Cyrus standing up. My thing is, how could she not realize the height difference between Cyrus and Chris when Chris got down? Like, that's supposed to be, or potentially be, your man. You should at least know the difference between him and somebody else. It wasn't that dark in that studio for her not to see that he looked different. I mean, even the hair was different too. So, side note, the way we as girls just let anything fly right over our heads when we think a boy is cute or we like him needs to be studied, because Chris really played in Roxy's face, and it's just like, oh, like seriously, he really played from the very beginning to the end. He played in Roxy's face, and she low-key just let it happen. Like, Roxy, you cannot be this down bad. And they weren't even talking about songs. They were literally making a beat, and Cyrus said, and then it'll be like the Beatles, and then whatever song the Beatles had, and then Roxy was like, oh, I love the Beatles. And for some weird reason, Chris decided he had to like the Beatles too, right? So he was like, oh, I like the Beatles too. And Roxy was like, oh, you do? What's your favorite song? Which is, I think, is annoying, because just because you like somebody doesn't mean that you need to have a favorite, like, song by them. I don't think that is, like, no, you don't have to have a favorite song by somebody to enjoy their music. But anyways, that's neither here or there. She asked Chris what was his favorite songs, and he said the greatest hits. The room got quiet. They all looked at each other, and then she just started laughing. Y'all, I'm on my phone because I literally have to clean out the storage on my camera, and I keep forgetting that, and I only remember when I'm filming, so I can't do it. So I'm recording from my phone, and I'm on my computer now. So yeah, it's just a weird angle because I'm not where I'm usually am. So yeah. Okay, so we kind of skip over a little time or whatever. Nothing really happens. We are back with Cyrus at work, and Levi just like tells him straight, like, hey, like, what are you doing in life? Like, why are you letting people take credit for stuff that they didn't do? Why are you allowing your friend to treat you like that? Why are you, like, that's the girl of your dreams, but you're allowing her to be with your friend? That does not make any sense. Levi is the only real person that was in Cyrus' corner from start to finish. I don't care. I don't care what anybody say, because even his own dad wasn't. And his mama was a little, she had her moments that I feel like she should have put her foot down with her husband, but she didn't. So I mean, you're not a bad person, but also you're not like the best, if that makes sense. Because it's like, you should be able to correct your husband or your wife when it comes to your kids if they're wrong. That literally has nothing to do about putting your husband first or putting your partner first or whatever. Like that's not, no. Like, don't let your partner treat your kids like crap, because mind you, that's your DNA. They come from you. They are literally you. Why would you want somebody to treat them like crap, especially their parent? You get what I'm saying? So it's like she had her moments where it's kind of just like, girl, I'm rooting for you to stick up for this boy. Like, but I mean, we'll get there, I guess. But no. Okay, so after Cyrus and Levi talk, Levi then leaves, and he tells Cyrus, like, after you're done cleaning, hey, clean up, lock up, go home. So a little bit later, we see Roxy pull up. She's outside on the curb waiting for Chris because they were supposed to be going on a date, and he was late. She starts hearing music from the club, and she's like, oh, I thought the club was closed. But for some weird reason, she decided that she was going to go investigate, which is crazy to me, because I feel like if I know that a place is supposed to be closed but they're open at this certain time it's supposed to be closed, I'm gonna mind my business. That has nothing to do with me. I'm not a detective. I'm not a cop. Good thing this is a Disney movie. She goes in and she sees Cyrus rapping, and she's like, hold up now. He turns around, he sees her, and she's shocked, because like, what are you doing rapping? Not only is he rapping, but he sounds like Chris. So she's like, what's going on? Why do you sound like my man? And then he says that he is lip rapping. And it's like, and she believes it. She believes it. Yeah, I never realized how naive and stupid Roxy was in this movie until I rewatched it this time. And I'm sorry, because I like Roxy. I think she's a sweet girl, but she really was stupid and naive. Because don't get me wrong. Yes, we lip sing, we lip rap, we do that. But let's be for real. It just, like, girl. But after they get past that, because of course they're just gonna, he gave his little excuse, oh, I was lip rapping, and then that was it. But I would have been asking, you know what, never mind. Anyways, he changes the subject and he asks her, hey, like, why are you here? Like, that's weird. Why are you here? She tells him that she's supposed to be meeting up with Chris, like I said. Just then she gets a text message from Chris saying that he's not going to make it, which is red flag, because where are you at? Let's go find where he is at, right? Because, and honestly, I don't think that they are together. I think it's supposed to be like a possibility, but I think that Chris never wanted to be with her. He'd have seen her as like an opportunity to get more clout. She wanted him. I don't think he wanted her like that. But anyways, and that's not saying that he didn't find her attractive. Before y'all try to say that, that's what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying is that he is a player and he wanted to play the field. She did not want to do that. She didn't want to be a part of that. She wanted him to be her man. Okay. But so he can't make it to dinner. So Cyrus is like, well, I'm here. Let's go to dinner. Like, let me just slide right in. Be Superman. I'm not mad at it. So she agrees, because why not? While they are eating, they find out they have like a lot in common, which, like, it's like, You know what I mean? Because honestly, you don't have to have stuff in common with somebody for y'all to have a good time. Like, I don't like the ideal that in this movie they kind of made it seem as if Roxy and Cyrus are supposed to be together because they have so much in common. That's not true. It's not about having stuff in common. It's about willing to like do stuff with that person whether you like it or not. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, no, they both didn't have to like the same music for them to listen to the music that she liked or even he liked. I don't think that they needed to be exactly the same, and I don't think they needed to make it seem as if, oh, I should be with you, Cyrus, because we both like the same genre of music. I don't like that, because no, I don't have to like rock to be with a dude. But if that's what he likes, that's what he likes. I'm not going to, you know, talk down on him or laugh at him or pick at him or not talk to him because he likes pop music and I don't. And I think that kind of, they could have done it differently. I feel like he should have been more just attentive to what she likes. You get what I'm saying? Like, he should have been more willing to listen and look and go to the museums with her, because realistically, nobody wants to be with somebody that everything y'all have in common. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, to be with somebody who just, oh, I like the same thing as you. I want to do different stuff. I want to be introduced to different stuff. So, not saying that anything is wrong with them liking the same stuff, but they tried to make it seem as if, oh, me and Cyrus don't have anything. No, I'm sorry. Me and Chris don't have anything together. I shouldn't be with him. And it's not that you shouldn't be together. It's not that she shouldn't have been with him because they don't have anything in common. Is she shouldn't have been with him because he was a player and because he didn't take her serious and because he wasn't willing to do things that she liked. That's why. It had nothing to do with them liking the same thing. It's the fact that he wasn't willing to show interest in stuff that she wanted to show, like that she liked. It was because he wasn't willing to actually put the effort into getting to know her like Cyrus did. And I think that's what they should have did. But they made it seem as if, oh, I'm supposed to be with Cyrus because we both like to go to the museum. And it's like, no. It doesn't have to be because y'all both like going to the museum. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, they ended up finding out they have a lot in common, which is cool. Nothing's wrong with that. I'm not saying that anything is wrong with that. Well, after they are done eating, they are walking and they see street battle, which is, I love that they are doing the whole battle rap thingy. Like, yes, that's culture. That's our culture. And then they're in Atlanta, and I guess I should have made that known. I'm sorry. They're in Atlanta, which is, I really love how Disney made a movie about black kids in Atlanta. Like, I love it. I don't know if anybody, disagrees, but I love it because Atlanta is black. Like, it's black. I lived there for like 2.5 years. Atlanta is black. Atlanta is lit. I like Atlanta. So it's like, yeah. They run into the street rapping and they're listening, they're vibing, not messing with anybody. But here comes the bling behind, coming up here trying to be a bully. And it's like, why? But he calls Cyrus a geek, which is, I don't understand. Let me know if I'm wrong, but it just doesn't make sense to me that he's trying to put off that Cyrus is a nerd. And it's like, okay, maybe they go to the same school and maybe that's why, but we're in summer, baby. This has nothing to do with school. You get what I'm saying? We don't know anything about Cyrus outside of the fact that he loves music. You get what I'm saying? Like, we don't see any other subjects. We don't get that. We see him in love with the music. Everything that has to do with music. I don't understand how that makes him a nerd. Bling raps too, so you should know something about music. You should love music just as much because you are a rapper yourself. So I don't understand that. And I said, we don't really know how smart Cyrus is. Like, outside of the music aspect, we don't know anything about him. So it's like, how is he a nerd? And then honestly, nobody really knew how much he loved music outside of the close people. And honestly, that's Levi, Chris, maybe the mama, because the mama knew some stuff, and then now Coco. Oops, I didn't mean to call her Coco. Roxy. 4 people that knew that he really loved music. So it's like, what is nerdy about him? Why? How is he a geek? How is he Urkel? Like, I don't know. That don't make no sense to me. Like, they couldn't have found another thing that he, like, they literally, he could have just picked on him for being a preacher's kid. Like, literally could have picked on him for that. But no, he was calling him Urkel and a geek, and it's like, it made no sense. Like, it would have made sense for him to pick, oh, there go the preacher's kid, the preacher kid up in here in the club. Ooh, does your daddy know you in here? That would have made more sense, because it's like, everybody knows that his daddy don't rock with rap. So it would have made more sense to pick on him for that than it would be to pick on him for being a geek. Mind you, Cyrus don't look like a geek, so I don't understand that. But so Cyrus and Roxy started talking about the church and stuff like that, and Roxy was like, oh, you know, I should come to church. Yeah, I haven't been to church in a while. And Cyrus is a little like, oh, I don't know about that, because he knows how his dad is. Like, he doesn't want her to be placed into an uncomfortable position. And I respect that, because he could have been like, yeah, girl, come on. But no, he's like, but she's like, no, I want to come. So she ends up coming the next day to church. And of course, Cyrus' dad is not rocking with that. And again, once again, he's judgmental, trying to call somebody else righteous. Nobody is righteous. You get what I'm saying? It says that in the Bible. Again, like I said earlier, everybody was just agreeing with him. And it's like, but when she was up there singing, everybody was clapping. So it's like, how can you go from celebrating, embracing, encouraging her up here singing to agreeing with what the pastor is saying just because it's the pastor? I don't understand that. And my thing is, you got to start out somewhere. So yeah, she may have been, you know, quote unquote, because I don't agree with what he was saying, but the logic is that she was up here, you know, dancing with the devil Monday through Saturday, but now you're up here in church. Okay? Mind you, Jesus was not in the church houses. Jesus was out there with the sinners and the poor people and everything in between. He wasn't with the people that were already righteous. He wasn't with the people that was in church. He was with the sinners. He was sitting at tables with sinners, you know, cleansing sinners, getting to know people who had problems going on in their life and changing them. He wasn't in no church judging people. So again, I say I don't understand some church people, because it's like, are you reading the word just to read it, or are you reading to understand it? Because you're not understanding it. That whole thing, you got to start somewhere. You got to meet Jesus somewhere. And if that means her coming to church once a month, she's meeting him. You can't tell somebody their process on when they or how the relationship is with Christ. You just can't. So I didn't understand that. It was just nasty. Like, so nasty. Like, extra nasty for no reason. It was just too much. Like, I don't know. But after church, you know, because Roxy runs out, because I wouldn't put up with that mess either, because I just sat up here and sung So Good to Be Home and sounded beautiful, and you're mad because she's here? Literally, you're mad because she's in church? Just last week you were preaching about how they need to find God. They need more G-O-D, right? Now she's trying to find him, and you're mad that she's up in here. So what do you want? So the Cyrus' mom is mad, and she's like, you're sleeping on the couch, because there was no need to do that to that girl. You embarrassed her for no reason. It was just unnecessary. It wasn't called for. And then the next morning, she's like reading the paper, and she saw that Roxy was going to be at the club that Cyrus works at for a music video. And she tells her husband, like, hey, you're going to go up there and apologize to her because you did that girl wrong. So we'll see how that turns out. We then skip to the part where they're at the club. Sorry, I never got the name of the club, so I'm so sorry. I'm just gonna call it the club. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But so we're at the scene. Roxy's manager ends up telling Chris, Cyrus, and Roxy that Chris will be able to perform with Roxy, but he cannot lip sync. He has to live sing. Chris is like, okay, cool, that's fine, we can do that. Yeah, like, yeah, like that's cool, like that works for me. So Cyrus is like, works for who? Cool for who? What are we doing? So he pulls him to the side because he's like, hey bro, like you can't rap. And it's not even just the fact that you can't rap. This is my voice that you're using, that you're lip rapping to. What do you mean we're good? Chris tells him, hey, you're smart, you'll know what to do, you'll figure something out. Excuse me, sir? Thank you for the compliment, but what do you mean? Because how are we going to finesse the system if you can't lip sync? Like, there's no way of getting out of that, to be honest. But you know, then they kind of get into Roxy and stuff like that. And Chris is like, you know what? I'm not ready to settle down. I think after we do this performance and, you know, after, you know, I get a little bit more hype, I think I'm just going to fall back from her. And Cyrus is like, why would you do Roxy like that? Which is, he's not wrong. Why would you do Roxy like that? Like, we know her since, you know, elementary school. That's been our dog. Like, why would you play with her like that? My thing, though, with that, though, is, again, why are we trying to act like Chris wasn't who he was? You get what I'm saying? Like, he always said that. Like, and my thing is, Cyrus has known this dude since they were 5 years old. Like, that just says everything that you need to know, right? Like, that's how I feel. So I really genuinely feel like Chris messed up Cyrus's song with that stupid video. Literally had nothing to do with the message of the song, but for some weird reason, that's what Chris wanted to do. Then Cyrus' dad finally makes it to the club. He sees Roxy, so he walks up to apologize, but ends up running into Cyrus, and Cyrus is like, Dad, what are you doing here? Which is, now that this is probably like a spoiler, which is, I'm saying it ahead of time, the mama knew that Cyrus worked at the club. She knew that Roxy was going to be at that club. Why would she tell Cyrus's dad to go up to the club? Like, did she not know he was going to be working that day or what? But no, so Cyrus's dad apologizes to Roxy, which is, I don't know how to feel about it, because I feel like he apologized for how he treated her just to turn around and like low-key do the same stuff. So it's kind of just like, what are you apologizing for? You get what I'm saying? Because it was almost as if he didn't mean the apology, but that's neither here or there. After he apologized, he looks to Cyrus and he's like, hey man, like, what are you doing here? And while he's talking to Cyrus, Levi shows up and he's like, hey man, I need you to start work. And then he stops himself because he sees Cyrus's dad. But then he's like, why am I stopping myself? So he continues and he was like, Cyrus, I need you to start working now. Like, I need your help now. The dad's like, oh, you work here? Oh, no, you're coming home with me. We're leaving now. You're not doing this. You're not playing with me. You know how I feel about this. Which brings me back to the whole, why apologize if you still feel that way? Doesn't make sense to me. But whatever, that's neither here or there. He was just, I guess he was trying to get out the doghouse with his wife, so he did what he had to do, I guess. I don't know. But Cyrus is like, no, like, first of all, you're not gonna come up here and embarrass me like that, because like, these are people I go to school with, okay? These people I'm with a lot of the time. You're not about to do that. And I totally respect that, because it's like, you don't have to embarrass him like that. Like, it literally could have just waited until he got home. You get what I'm saying? Like, even if that was gonna be his last day at work, let the boy get his last day check. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But so Cyrus is like, no, I'm not coming with you. And Cyrus' dad is like, oh, we'll talk about this when you get home. And then he leaves. Cyrus goes back to work, right? So I find out that his name is Jacob at this point, so he is no longer Cyrus's dad, but Jacob, okay? So Jacob comes back home to inform Cyrus's mom that Cyrus was at the club, and Cyrus's mom is like, oh, you found out? Her? And Jacob is like, oh, so you knew? That's crazy. Because I mean, it is kind of crazy, but like, I mean, shoot. So a lot of time passes and Cyrus gets back home. His mama is actually outside waiting. I don't know if she's waiting for him or she just wanted some fresh air because, you know, she probably just got an argument with her husband about the whole situation. So it was probably a little bit of both, if we're being honest. But literally Jacob meets Cyrus right out there and they start talking. And his dad is like, you know, like, we don't do that in this house. We don't glorify that. We don't do this. He said a lot more mean though, a lot more judgmental though than what I'm saying it. And Cyrus is just trying to get his dad to like understand, like, he likes music, he likes to write, he likes to do it. It's no harm in that. And this, what Jacob says, really irritates me because what do you mean, pastor? He literally says, Jacob says he does not care if Jesus himself told him to go up there and get a job. It was a test and he failed. Let me re-say that. Jacob says he doesn't care if Jesus himself told Cyrus to go and get the job. It was a test and Cyrus failed Jesus. Like, so here's my thing, because nobody knows what is written in God's word for anybody else. We don't know the path that somebody else is supposed to go down. We don't even know our path, right? So how can you as a pastor sit up here and say what Jesus meant for somebody to do? What? Like, how can you, out of your own word as a pastor, sit up here and say, oh, Jesus said it was a test and you failed him? Did Jesus tell you that? No? Oh, okay. So what are we doing? Like, that really blew me, because it's one thing to not agree with what Cyrus is doing. Okay, we can argue that all day because we don't have to like what somebody is doing. But to sit up here and try to say you failed Jesus out of your own mouth, feel comfortable enough to say that with your whole chest and mean it, you don't know what him and Jesus talked about. You don't know what him and Jesus got going on. How can you sit up here out of your own mouth and say he failed Jesus because you don't like, you as a human, as yourself, don't like what he's doing? Did Jesus tell you he didn't like what he was doing? And to be honest, Cyrus could be up in there congregating about Jesus. He literally could be bringing people to church, because mind you, Jesus was not in the church. He was out getting people to listen to the word. So what are we doing here? You don't know what Cyrus be up in there doing. So that threw me, because I'm like, I literally said he don't know what's written in Cyrus' life, where he's supposed to go, the things he's supposed to see and do. It's weird. It's weird to sit up there and assume Jesus is, he failed Jesus because he doesn't like what Cyrus is doing. That made me mad. I was mad. And that's literally not how that works. But anyways, Cyrus tries to get Jacob to read his raps, but Jacob just refuses. And Jacob, like, he wasn't hearing it. So he banned Cyrus from working at the club, which is, I would have still been working, because he literally sneaks out to go to work. So again, he could have just continued to sneak out like he was doing before. But whatever, I would have still been getting my money, because if you're not giving me money, I'm about to go out here and get some money, because I don't know. And he's a young growing boy. I feel like all young growing boys needs a job at a certain age. Like, I don't care what y'all say, a man should not go without money, especially. So if you're able, you should be out there working. And again, like, he got a job on his own because he wanted a job. So like, I would be proud that my son took the initiative to go out and get a job. That lets you know that he will never be hungry, because he went out there and got a job himself. You didn't have to tell him to go get a job. No, he went out there and got a job. So I would be very proud of my son, because if I have sons, they're going to be working as soon as they are a legal age to work. They're going to go get a job. And no, they're not going to be paying bills. They're not going to have to pay me anything, but they're going to have a job. I know that for that much. Yeah, and he told him for the rest of the summer he would be working long hours with the church chorus, and he is on punishment. Oof. Couldn't stand that. Man, I would be on punishment for months. Like, some people be like, oh yeah, I'm on punishment for a week. A week? You been tripping about a week? I was on punishment for months. I mean, nothing. Couldn't watch TV. Literally just ate and was in my room. Literally, I couldn't do nothing. I mean, read a book. That's why I like reading now, I guess, because I would have to read, because that's all I had. I don't even think I was able to eat dessert when I was on punishment. Just like your regular food. It's crazy. But anyway, so after, Cyrus is put on punishment, we get another montage, kind of, and it's just basically Cyrus, going to church, going to the choir, and then home. And while he is getting ready to go somewhere, I don't know where he's going, I forgot, I'm sorry, Cyrus literally sees the bling driving a taxi as a job. And you know what, at first, because I'm not gonna lie, I didn't see the bling pull up, okay? I saw him getting out, and honestly, I thought I saw him got out the back of it. So in my mind, I was like, oh shoot, like this man is taking a taxi to the church that Cyrus' dad owns. Which is, in my mind, I was like, why would he go to the church? Why would he drive, like take a taxi to the church that his op is, like, I don't know. But then I seen him get into the driver's side. So I'm like, oh, this man is driving a taxi and he's dropping somebody off, because I seen the white man get out, and I'm like, oh, so he, like, I was a little confused, I'm not gonna lie. But then I realized he was just a taxi driver, which is, I'm not shaming him, but the fact that the bling name is literally the bling is like, how your name the bling, but you sitting up here driving taxis. Not me stuttering. Hello? You literally sitting up here trying to down other people and what they got going on, but you out here driving taxis, baby, to make money. You up here trying to call him what he call him? I forgot what he called him. A dish boy? I forgot. Sitting up here trying to brag on him for wiping tables, but you're driving people around. You're driving Miss Daisy. You get what I'm saying? Like, I that was just weird. But as the montage continues to go on, we see Jacob finally decide to read Cyrus's raps one night, which is really good. I guess he's coming around. So after the montage, and maybe like, I would say like a week goes by, Roxy decides to come and see Cyrus to talk about her relationship with Chris. I don't know how to feel about that. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know how to feel about that, because it's like, what do you mean? Why do I need to know about your relationship problems with this dude? And it's like, what does she expect him to say? Because mind you, no shade, Chris and Cyrus are best friends. They have not seen you since the 3rd grade, Bookie. So I don't know what she expected Cyrus to say or whatever, but his loyalty should have been to Chris. Not saying that it wasn't, but it should have been to Chris, because that's your dog at the end of the day. I'm sorry, I know that is wrong, but I mean, shoot. So as they're walking and talking, they end up going to a music store where Roxy like shows Cyrus a old song that she likes. Cyrus is like, yo, you should cover it, you should do a cover of it. And Roxy's like, ooh, no, I don't think my label would like it. And Cyrus is like, no, like, you have to, you are an amazing artist. You need to show that side. You need to show your creative side. You don't just have to be this one-dimensional character, you can do more than one thing. And Roxy's like, thank you, but since we're on the topic of that, let's talk about you, because you're amazing too. Like, you need to show you got some skills. You do. Why am I stuttering? You do amazing stuff though. Like, you should show that, and not hide behind whatever you got going on. I guess that makes them both feel some type of way, giggly and higgly inside, because they lean in to kiss, but Roxy does end up pulling back. Now, me personally, I feel like they should have kissed. Just because of the fact that it would have been juicier for when Cyrus and Chris, they get into it. And my thing is, throughout the whole movie, Chris has literally been in other women's face the whole doggone movie. There was not one time that he was like, oh, let me at least act like I'm into Roxy. No, straight up from the beginning to the end, in women's face, in girls' face. So why not? Third of all, they were not together. Roxy just liked him. They were not together because Chris couldn't even show up to a date to save his life. So they should have kissed. They should have kissed maybe twice, maybe 3 times, maybe even 10 times. Because if he can be all kikied up in girls' faces, you can be all kikied up in Cyrus' face. Okay? I don't care. So Cyrus ends up pulling up on Chris after having a whole conversation with Roxy. And he's just like, he asked him how was the date that he never went to with Roxy. Chris is like, hey man, there's a bunch of women around. What are you on? Like, why are you saying that? Which is, like I just said, dude is around a whole bunch of dude is around a whole bunch of girls, but was supposed to be going out on a date with Roxy. So Roxy, why couldn't you have kissed Cyrus? I got a stain on my shirt, y'all. I'm trying not to show it, but you should have just kissed Cyrus for the good old sake of it. You just should have. But Cyrus, he goes off. He's like, man, like, you're doing Roxy wrong, all this, like, that's not right, you playing with her, and I don't like that, and this, that, and third. That makes Chris mad, and he's going off like, hey, and what about you? Like, you not no better up here lying about who you are, and this, that, and the third. It's just a whole bunch of mess, right? And then they start like pushing each other. I wouldn't call it fighting because they never like threw punches, but they were pushing each other back and forth or whatever. I'm gonna say this, and y'all probably are not gonna like this, but me personally, I don't think Cyrus really had any right to be mad at Chris. I don't. Between Cyrus and Chris never changed. He was the same person that he was their whole life. Did Cyrus expect from Chris? Why did he expect Chris to treat Roxy like Cyrus would have treated Roxy? You allow people to treat you how you allowed them to treat you. Roxy allowed him to do the stuff that he did to her because that's what she wanted. That's what she wanted. Because he showed him, Chris showed her multiple times that he just wasn't the dude for her, and she just kept going back. So you obviously like it here. Like, I feel like we can't always play a victim to stuff that we allow to happen. Sorry, not sorry. If she would have put her foot down, if you would have seen her put her foot down more, and then he'd be like, okay, I'm gonna change, I'm sorry, but then he lied, I could probably see that. But it was just like, oh, he didn't show up. But next time he calls and he says, I want to go on the date, I'm gonna say yes. He called, planned a date, never showed up. And it's a continuous thing. He doesn't act how he acts when they're alone. And she said that. She said when they are alone, he acts like a completely different person. He can't express himself. He doesn't know how he feels about me. Multiple times, you're still here. What do you want him to show you that he hasn't already showed you? You get what I'm saying? So it's like Cyrus is trying to make Roxy this victim to something she eggs on and feeds into, because the minute she just would have stopped showing up for Chris, it would have all just been dead. I get it. I'm not saying that Roxy isn't a victim, but also you got to understand at some point you stop being a victim to stuff that you allow to happen to yourself. And again, Chris never changed. Not saying that that's right. I'm not saying that what Chris is doing to Roxy is right, because it's not. But also at the end of the day, you're going to do what people allow you to do, and she allows him to make promises, make dates, and break them. She allows him to treat her the way that he does, and she just keeps coming back because she's attracted to him. That's on you. At this point, it's on you. But I understand the whole like Cyrus, because Cyrus actually liked Roxy, so I understand the whole like, oh, I'm gonna be Captain Save a Girl, because why not? And that's what he does. He goes in and he fights for Roxy on the side of like Cyrus not being able to be truth. My thing is, Cyrus agreed to help hide the truth. No pun intended. Like, he literally was like, yes, I agree, I'll do it with you. So again, what are you mad at? You know how Chris is. You know his personality. You know how he gets down. So my thing is, why are you sitting up here trying to act like, oh, Chris is such this bad guy, he's changing, no, he's not. Literally, and I don't care what anybody say, he literally did not change the whole movie. It wasn't like he got big-headed, nothing like that. No, he literally was the same guy from start to finish. So I don't know where all of this, he didn't get big-headed, he didn't change, he didn't kick Cyrus to the curb once he got a little famous. No, he brought Cyrus along. But what I will say is, though, like, and for an example, like when Chris was like, oh, you're smart, you'll figure something out, when it came to the whole lip singing thing, that was messed up. Because, like, come on now, that was messed up. But I don't see that as him changing. I just see that as in, Cyrus, you have held it down, you've been coming up with all this. Because again, Chris is not smart, so Chris would have never been able to come up with any of the stuff that has been happening. It was always Cyrus. When Roxy wanted Chris to say something intelligent and smart and loving from the heart, Cyrus was the one that had to step in and help him out, because Chris didn't know what the heck he was doing. And that's not saying that I agree with what Chris is doing or I'm on Chris' side. I'm just trying to see it from both points of view, because both points of view is right. Cyrus is not wrong for getting annoyed, because at the end of the day, you can only keep a secret for so long and then it just bursts. Gotta call it spade a spade, and you helped make what the drama is now. So you can't just sit up here and act like Chris is the blame for everything, and he's not. That's all I'm saying. So after Cyrus basically tells Chris, like, I'm not helping you anymore, I'm done, good luck with this, he goes back home. And you know, as he's sitting there pondering, thinking, he realizes he can't do Chris like that. Like, he can't leave Chris like that. Like, Chris is gonna get embarrassed and it's just gonna be a hot mess. So he's like, you know, I have to go help my friend. So Cyrus puts on his big boy panties, underwear, boxers, gets up, goes out of the house. He sees his dad, but he's like, Dad, I gotta go help my friend. Like, you can't. I gotta go help my friend. They have a little heart to heart, Cyrus and Jacob. And Jacob is like, yeah, you know, I read your lyrics and you're not bad, you good in my books. So they have a heart to heart, and then, you know, they decide they're all gonna pile into the car and they're gonna go to the performance. Then we switch scenes to Roxy and her manager, and Roxy is looking crazy. And Roxy's like, you know what, I'm done playing these little games. Like, I want to be me. I want the world to know me for me, not for all this gimmicky stuff. So she tells her manager, I'm done with it. Go find somebody who wants to do that, because I don't. And then, you know, there's that. And I'm glad that she stuck up for herself finally, because it was crazy how they was having her dressed and stuff like that. Like, that was not necessary. So I'm literally editing right now, and I realized I forgot to put that Chris and Cyrus actually have a moment where they make up and apologize for the way they've been treating each other and how things have went on, you know, between them and Roxy, and then even the bling and like just everything in general. And I felt like I needed to put that. I feel like I needed to say that here because I didn't say it in the original video, and I'm like, that's important part of the film, so sorry about that, y'all. So then we get to Chris and Cyrus and the bling. At this point, I'm not really understanding why the bling is trying to come for Cyrus, knowing Cyrus saw the bling driving a taxi the other day. Like, my thing is, if the bling and Cyrus didn't make eye contact, and Cyrus just saw the bling, but the bling didn't see Cyrus, maybe it would make sense for the bling to continue to taunt Cyrus. But the fact that they made eye contact and you're still sitting up here trying to talk mess, crazy to me. Because it's like, a person can only take so much before they just use what they know about you against you. But whatever. Like, Cyrus really could have called him out for being fraudulent and a liar right then and there, but he didn't. He took the high road. I love to see that, you know. So then Roxy comes out in her cute little outfit. It made her, the yellow just made her skin pop so much. She starts performing before introducing the truth, and you know, on the stage while she's performing. But she's shocked when she sees that it is Cyrus and not Chris. So they of course have dialogue through the song. That's one of the best songs. Did you do it all for him, or were you only playing me? Right? I love that song. I did it for you, but I couldn't see it through. Roxy, I'm sorry. I felt that in my soul. Cause Roxy, I'm sorry. Right? They sing the song, she runs off stage, and he goes to run after her, and she slaps him. Cause she's like, why are you, what's going on? Why did y'all do this? And he goes and he's like, you know, you picked Chris, and it was, I can't remember the dialogue, but I do remember what she was saying. And she's like, no, she didn't pick him off of looks. She picked him because he spoke to her heart or something like that. But I call BS on that, because one little clip of a song made you see his heart. Like, and I'm not an artist, I'm not into music, so maybe that's why I don't understand that aspect of it. I don't know. But to me, Roxy claiming it wasn't about the looks is BS, because it honestly was. Because that's why she originally picked Chris. I don't care what nobody say. She looked at the picture, she seen both of them. For some weird reason, instead of asking who was the truth, she picked the one that she thought was attractive. Let's be for real. Because that's what I would do. If I wasn't going to lose my logic and see, like, hey, which one is which, I would just pick the one that was attractive. And maybe that's why I think she did. And even going back, the manager literally, when Roxy showed the manager the picture of the two, she literally said, ooh, he's cute. So what is that? Like, come on, let's not sit up here and try to act like it wasn't off of physical attraction on why you picked dude. Because if it wasn't, you would have wanted to know exactly who it was, because there was a picture with two people in it. And honestly, if somebody sends you something with more than one person in it, you're going to want to clarify who it is that I'm supposed to be paying attention. That's what we do when we look at pictures and we see multiple people. You know how when you with your homegirl and they're like, y'all talking about something, and then she's like, see, look, and it's a picture with more than one person, you're gonna be like, which one is it? You're not just gonna assume it's this person right here, because you're gonna want to know who that girl is talking about. No shade to the actors who played Chris and Cyrus, but I never understood why they tried to make it seem as if Chris was more attractive or cuter or whatever than Cyrus. Because me personally, I feel like Cyrus was more attractive than Chris. But yeah, it never gave what they were trying to make it give for. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Like, I felt like I was more team Cyrus than I would have ever been team Chris. I don't know. I don't care. It was definitely off of looks and nothing else, because that's all that there was nothing else offered outside of looks. But then Cyrus and the bling ended up battling, and I would say the first round, I don't know if they technically had rounds, but I'm just gonna go off of rounds. And I say that because there was like a pause, and then the round picked up again. So that's why I'm saying round. The first round definitely goes to the bling, and I say that because I feel like Cyrus was kind of holding back. Like, he was still trying to be nice and cute about it, but the bling was the one that was like taking shots, because he was throwing shots at Cyrus, because he was throwing them shots at him, I would say. But then the second round, I think Cyrus came back, because he's like, okay, now you want to play unfair, now I'm about to give it to you. And he came back and he was like, you know, he talked about how he was driving taxis and how he's really broke and how he's fraudulent. And then he told him now he got he got served by the, I don't know, something like that. But he got served by the towel boy or something like that. And I was like, because period. The next morning we see Chris trying to talk to Roxy about everything because, you know, of course. But she wasn't hearing him, as she shouldn't. Like, I get it. Like, y'all, at the end of the day, you know, they did play her. They did. And especially in the sense Cyrus did, because I feel like Roxy was so open with her feelings about Chris to Cyrus, knowing, and my thing is, he knew that she would never get any romance from Chris because he wasn't Cyrus. He wasn't who she thought he was, and he knew that. So it's like she's sitting up here pouring her heart out to you about the boy that she likes, and you're just sitting up here and you're telling her, you're feeding lies into her, knowing that she will never be able to get that type of romantic feelings from him. So after the whole club scene, we get to the next day, and it's Sunday, of course. So Chris pulls up on Cyrus and his family. He's like, hey, like I want to go to church with y'all. Side note, I feel like, considering the fact that Chris and Cyrus have been friends since they were 5, I definitely feel like Chris's family would have been going to church with Cyrus in them this whole time. Like, I can't imagine friends and they're black and they are not, and I'm not saying that it happens every time, but I don't know, logically speaking, I feel like his parents would have been in the club, not in the church with Jacob and his wife. Roxy and Cyrus, we introduce ourselves, and then everything is all good and all lovey-dovey from there. You know, and then we see Cyrus and Roxy singing and rapping in the church, and that's where it ends, with this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. So that is the movie. I give this movie, honestly, like an 8 out of 9. I mean, 8 out of 9, an 8 out of 10, just because I do think some things could have been done differently. But in general, I love that we got, like, kids got black representation, like representation. I love that for us. The movie was made in 2012, so I would have been 11, so I was definitely still watching Disney by then. So yeah, I like the movie. It is funny to look back at these movies with like a more mature eye now, because I'm seeing so much stuff that doesn't make sense. And it's like, even back then, if I was even just like a little more smarter, I would have peeped it, you know. But so now we're gonna get into the songs that I liked, and we're gonna go least to greatest. So there's 13 songs, so starting at 13. I'm not gonna tell y'all why I like these songs, because like why they are in the place that they're in. They just like that. Because if I was to ever type in these songs to listen to, I'm gonna listen to the songs that I like the most. You get what I'm saying? And I'm gonna skip the ones that didn't stick out to me. So there is no reason why I like these more than the others. I just like them. So the 13th one is Tonight's the Night. 12th one is Moment of Truth. 11 is Around the Block. 10 is Joyful Noise. 9 is Who I'm Gonna Be. 8 is You Belong to Me. 7 is Who I'm Gonna Be. I did not finish writing that for some reason, so hopefully that's the end of the song. Who I'm Gonna Be. 8 is Good to Be Home. 6 is Let It Shine. 5 is Me and You. 4 is What I Said. 3 is Don't Run Away. 2 is Guardian Angel. And 3 is Me and You. So yeah. So that is the end of this video. But this video, please leave your thoughts and opinions on my thoughts and opinions down below. Let me know what your favorite songs was of the movie and which weren't. And the next video, I'm going to be talking about the movie Life Size. So I'll see you guys in that video. Bye.